From the beautiful city of Los Angeles, California, we bring you the Gimme 3 podcast.
Welcome back, cinephiles, cinema lovers, and movie appreciators to the Gimme 3 podcast, a series for cinephiles. This is the show where we choose 3 movies connected by one theme, and we're diving in deep, so please take this as your official spoiler alert. I'm your co-host, Bella of Stratus, and while my exceptional co-host, Nicholas Ibarra, is away, I've recruited 2 phenomenal guests to join me for this very special short series. First up, we have the wonderful costume designer and film enthusiast, Ashley Snyder.
Thank you. I feel so grateful that I get to be a part of this and talk about beautiful films.
Yes, it's going to be so fun. And we also are bringing back, you guys have heard of her before, writer and filmmaker Jessica McLaughlin. Jess, welcome back.
Hello, it's wonderful to be back. I am very greedy and I get more time. But I'm very excited.
I'm so happy you two are here. Together, we're bringing you listeners not 1, but 2 episodes, actually, spotlighting the art of costume design. You know, costumes aren't simply decorations. In fact, they're secret storytellers, shaping characters, grounding us in the world, and adding layers to every single frame. For this first episode, each of us has picked 1 movie. And as always, we're bringing you 3 extraordinary films with costume design that proves just how powerful wardrobe can be in cinema. And trust me, the movies themselves are just as unforgettable as the costumes. Very excited for what we have for you guys today. So without further ado, Ashley, do you want to take us away with our first film of the day?
Yes, of course. So our first film is The Fall. It was released in 2006. The director is Tarsem, and the costume designer is Eiko Ishioka. Daring myths of revenge and love, told through the lens of heartbreak in a world of wonder. Roy, a stunt man for the Flickers, is bedridden in a hospital after a stunt gone wrong. His only ticket out, Alexandria, a feisty little girl desperate for adventure. Using bold colors and breathtaking landscapes, Tarsem and Eiko take us on a journey around the world of Alexandria and Roy's mind, grappling at love, loss, beauty, and other grandiose ideas, reminding you of why you fell in love with the art of cinema in the first place.
I am so grateful that you recommended this film. Like, truly, this movie blew me away. I fell in love with it. I was even considering, like, dare I say, considering switching out one of my top 4 Letterboxd for this film. I couldn't figure out which one to do, so it hasn't happened yet, but I'm stewing on it.
Okay.
But yes, I loved it. I obviously had never seen this before. It was a first time watch for me, and I was just so mesmerized by the visuals in general as a whole. I mean, this is some of the most beautiful cinematography I've ever seen. But then, I mean, what we're talking about today, the costumes are otherworldly, and
so
that's
good.
An understatement. Yeah, so good. So I'm very excited to dive into some more of the details of that. But Jess, you'd seen this film before, right?
I have. I was trying to remember the first time that I saw it, and I really can't pinpoint it. I think it must have been like early undergrad, maybe like freshman year. And it was one of those films that when I saw it, I was just like, one, how have I not heard of this film before now? And why have I only just now watched it? It's one of those films that like, you just wonder just like how it was made, how everything came together. It's just like a glowing example of the art of filmmaking on so many levels. And it stands in a lot of stark contrast to, I don't know, like content that is being churned out that we see nowadays. This just feels like out of every metaphorical poor. There's just like this passion and love for filmmaking that is in this movie, and it's just so good. It's just so good.
100%.
I obviously like the movie, guys. So
I think that so it's the 20th anniversary is coming up next year, and I'm just like, can we bring it back? Can we please bring it back to the theaters?
Please put it in the theaters.
I would kill to see this movie in theaters. I need to see it on the big screen.
Oh, yes. It's already so beautiful on a small screen, so it's like, how can it, and it can get better.
Right?
Through the big
will only
screen.
get better.
God, it's amazing.
So after this episode recording, we're going to do detective work to get it on the big screen.
We're going to start a personal campaign.
Exactly. it must be done. But yeah, I'm curious if you guys had a favorite look of our main bandits, if you will, in the story.
Ooh.
Obviously, we have Oda Benga, we have the Indian, Luigi, Masked Bandit, and Charles Darwin gets thrown in there randomly.
Do you want to go first, Jess?
Sure. That's a very tough question. I just adore Lee Pace so much. I am very, very biased. I love the look of the Black Bandit, and then also the incorporation of, through the course of the film and the events of the story, he is like avenging his brother, the Blue Bandit. So then he at one point has like this blue sash that he's carrying as well. And like the raw silk texture on like the red mask that he's wearing. It's just, and he's fringe gloves.
Oh, the gloves.
And his like big pants. Oh, I think it's maybe one of the more simpler costumes. Cause I mean, some of the other costumes are a little bit more flamboyant. But it is really iconic. Like when you see images online of like screenshots of the film and you see that costume, you know exactly what film it's from. Yeah. So Eiko did a really good job of, kind of creating that like hero character look.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I might have to go with Charles Darwin's costume.
With the coat.
That huge, like, Mongolian fur butterfly patterned coat.
Yes.
And then, like, I just also think it's hilarious that it feels very right for this British man to, like, not understand the weather in which he's journeying to and wear a big coat.
To be dressed, like, so inappropriately.
Yes. So just like, well, I'm going to stick to it.
Yeah.
In the desert.
Oh my God, that's so true. I didn't even actually think of that, but he looks so out of place compared to the rest of them.
Yes.
But I'm not even batting an eye.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like... Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, no, I think Darwin's was one of my favorites for sure. I also had one of those silly kind of moments where you are watching a film and you're trying to like hyper analyze it, and like I remember when they introduced his character, I was like, oh, his coat kind of looks like a monarch's wings, and then like right after they're like, oh yeah, he's looking for a rare butterfly, and I was like, oh, I'm so smart.
Bella's just on another level.
Yeah.
I do really like, also this is more of a story thing, but I love the Indian as a character just because of how in Alexandria's mind, she has completely misunderstood Roy's story. Because so it's not even like a costume thing. It's not even like, but I wanted to throw in an honorable mention because, he keeps talking about the language that he uses when he's telling the story is obviously referring to like Native Americans. But just because of Alexandria's lived experience and like who she is friends with working in the orchard, she's just like, oh yeah, no, this is a person from India.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
it's just, yeah, that was my honorable mention.
Well, another place that we see this too is with Governor Odious's henchmen, how they're like the black version of the X-ray tech or the doctor in the X-ray gear.
Oh,
It's like the exact
yes.
silhouette of
Yep.
that like scary leather suit.
Oh,
And
that's amazing.
It's just all of those like little details, like the locket that the princess wears, and like the scroll that they find, or like it looks like the letter she's trying to give to Evelyn. Yeah, they're those little snowflake notes. It's just those little details are so beautiful and really create such great depth into the like how Alexandria would be perceiving these stories.
Yeah,
totally.
I want to know. I feel like I need to rewatch it again. But where she would have gotten like the lotus motif in that lotus look. Because then we also see it again at the very end when the Black Bandit is fighting with Governor Odious. They're in like a pool with lotus blossoms.
Oh,
so that was just something I never even had that thought before. But I was just like, I bet it's in there somewhere because they're so good with those little details.
Yeah.
The lotus, sorry for my brain refreshing, because we've seen a lot of costumes this last week. Is that the one with the first costume that the princess is in when they
correct
abduct
with the
her
fan in front of her face and she pulls her. Oh.
And it's like white and red and okay, yes. And then she's got like the piece on her head is like it's a lotus that hasn't fully bloomed, I guess, in a way. Is kind of how it looks like it, like a lotus bud. That costume was stunning. It's fun to like, all the main characters of this are men, and so it is fun to see the feminine side of that in this like very feminine princess character that Alexandria has created. And she doesn't have that many scenes, like main scenes, but each time she's in a different outfit or dress that is just absolutely stunning.
Like the wedding look.
Oh my God, yes. It's like, I'm trying to think of how to describe it for our listeners, but her veil, for one, it's basically just diamonds.
It's like dripping diamonds.
Yeah.
And like the structure of it is like this exaggerated tricorn sort of hat. But it looks like this like a building on her head, dripping with diamonds.
Yes.
And this like white like gown with these big, almost like the sleeves remind me of like a puffer coat. Like they're just like billowy but structured. Ugh. Yeah.
I don't remember the sleeves, so I'm glad you do.
I love it. Yeah, the shapes and lines in this are very complementary to the cinematography, which is always kind of like playing with the different shapes and lines of the scenery and like where it's placing its characters. So it's just like there's so many layers, and the detail that Eiko put into the costumes is just in tandem with the cinematographer. I'm curious what their conversations were throughout production, because I feel like they must have worked very closely to capture all these different images so beautifully, if that makes any sense.
Totally.
That was one thing that spoiler alert for the listeners, Ashley and I watched these movies together. So that's, some behind the scenes information. But that was
very important.
It's very important because when we were watching it together, I turned to Ashley and I was talking about how in the cinematography, like with what Bella is saying, there is these wide expanses of like, of course, landscapes, but large expanses of like blue sky, and it's just like dominating the frame with these characters like maneuvering just like this expanse.
It's like very reminiscent of Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh,
You know, where it's like tiny man and huge like sand dunes, you know?
yeah. Oh, yes. I love that.
That's fantastic. But like when I turned to Ashley and I was like, none of these costumes, and eventually this did get broken with the inclusion of the Blue Bandits sash or shawl or whatever you want to call it. But like none of the costumes had blue in them. And I was like, that had to be an intentional thing, that they knew they were going to have these just like overwhelming blue skies that they were going to be shooting against, and wanted to have stuff that was going to stand in contrast. So it's like that just level of care. You can tell.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been lovely to be the fly on the wall for those pre-production meetings, just to see like what kind of detail, like what were the conversations, like you were saying, Bella?
Yeah. Man, we'll never know.
we do know that the film took, this is just some fun facts, the film took 4 months to shoot in sequence of like the main story pieces, which was mainly the hospital. And then after that, when they were doing the stuff on location, it was over 4 years.
Okay.
In 28 different countries. And it was just to find what would work best with the story pieces that they had already gotten. And so that's, you know, they had the luxury of time to really get things right, which is just, it's something we wish we all had as filmmakers.
Seriously.
It's just unlimited time.
Now I wonder if it was like the luxury of time, like if that was a luxury, or if it was like, we don't have the money until, okay, now we have it, so let's go shoot this, or like how much of what was what, and like, did it feel like a luxury in those moments? You know?
Yeah.
That very well could be the case as well.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it from like, oh, wouldn't it be so nice? But it could have been more of a burden.
I'm sure it was both.
I mean, yeah, I know this is not to do with the costumes in a way, but the scenery alone is a reason to watch this movie. It's a massive aspect of it, which is why we're talking about it so much. But it has such a relationship to the costumes and the characters, because yeah, I mean, as you said, they're in how many was it?
28 countries.
28 different places. Yeah.
God.
It's so amazing to watch. And I love that their costumes largely remain the same, at least for like the main squad, which is a lot of fun, because I mean, it just makes sense. It's that like storybook idea in this child's mind. I mean, I don't remember where I saw it. I want to say Mubi posted something when they were releasing this, because it hadn't been anywhere on streaming, and they referred to it as kind of like a more adult Wizard of Oz, or like a darker Wizard of Oz, which, I mean, Wizard of Oz is pretty damn dark too, but this is definitely like on another level, especially when we come back to Alexandria's reality, and even more so Roy's reality is so brutal. But oh god, I think this is a masterpiece, and is what I'm saying.
It is a masterpiece. It's so beautiful. And I just keep thinking about like how we wouldn't see the beauty of like the fantastic aspects of this without that contrast between Roy's perspective of things and like everything within the hospital feeling so real and grounded and neutral.
Mm.
And then having the flip of what's going on in Alexandria's mind with like the beautiful silks and leathers and heavy metals and bright colors and those like really graphic silhouettes.
Yeah.
We wouldn't get that without those big contrasts.
It's so true. Well, any final thoughts on The Fall?
People should watch it. Go watch it.
Yes, 1,000%. There's so much to say. Like, yeah, I've got a million notes, but I feel like you're getting the gist.
Yes.
I could talk about this for hours upon hours, and then I could even do a commentary of the of the film. So and reach out to me if anyone wants to watch this with me or with Jess and I.
Yes.
And if you enjoyed this, was it The Cell? That's a little bit more well known.
Oh, yeah.
That was also directed by Tarsem and costume designed by Eiko Ishioka. So they obviously loved working together. If you liked that, if you liked the vibes there, come over here.
Yeah.
And it's got an even better story.
Well, have you seen this now, Ashley?
No, but I'm just going off of what you told me. So I trust you.
I love it. Check it out. You guys can watch it on Mubi or anywhere on demand. Also, check your local video stores. I'm sure they've got this one on the shelf. All right, Jess, you want to take us into our second film of the day?
I would be honored. If anyone knows me, they know I'm obsessed with horror. So I had to, guys. I just had to. So I picked Shocker, a horror film. But this one's a little bit different, and the costumes in it are stellar. The film that I chose is Ken Russell's 1971 masterpiece, The Devils. Since its release in 1971, The Devils has delivered shock and awe to audiences worldwide. One of the rare films to receive the special honor of 0 stars from Roger Ebert, this film has been censored and banned due to its provocative content surrounding the Catholic Church's involvement in a witch trial masking a political scheme in 17th century Loudun, France. Through expert collaboration between the film's production designer, cinematographer, and costume designer, Shirley Russell, director Ken Russell's vision of a time of unbridled terror wrought by human hands is brought to life in vivid images that are sure to stick with you for the rest of your days. So when I saw Bella earlier today, I apologized for this film. Bella, what did you think of The Devils?
Apologize?
I did apologize.
She did. And I told her that I was up all night cleansing my eyes and my soul and my spirit from this film. No, this is my kind of movie as well, I'll admit. I just think it's so fun to be introduced to something with such a controversial like history and kind of origin story, as you talked about in the intro. So I, having had that context, I was like, okay, here we go. Like, I got to prepare myself for this. And I'm glad I did, because it still goes above and beyond your expectations. Just story-wise, it's a phenomenal story. It's timeless. I think it's almost more pertinent than ever right now. Definitely worth either a rewatch or first-time watch. Costume-wise, amazing. So many, I was interested to see, I'm like, okay, we've got a nunsploitation film, so this can go either way, costume-wise. But it's very creative and has some really fun, unexpected moments. Specifically, I noticed a lot of rainbow coming out of nowhere. Right? Which I was very surprised and very excited to see, considering, the time period, the genre. But yeah, no, I thoroughly enjoyed this.
I love how the film started out in this like drag spectacular.
Oh, yes.
It was the perfect tool to show you where this country is at, where men are at in this country, what men are allowed to do with their sexuality that women are not allowed to do. And like what's acceptable for who you are within the rank of the monarch or monarchy.
Right.
And yeah, that was just brilliant. Also, like, who doesn't love a pastel silver unicorn prancing about a stage? Count me in.
Yes, so for our listeners, the opening scene of this film, which much to my surprise, I was like, is this the right movie?
And you have kind of a double take moment where you're like, did I put in the right disc? Like,
it like opens on a close up of this this man's face and then pulls out to reveal this like ballet kind of theatrical performance, and yeah, full of pastels. They're in all different colors, and there's a unicorn costume and it's a lot of fun for a movie called The Devils, I should say.
Trivia fun fact about that unicorn costume. It was used later, after the production of the film, in a Queen music video. So in Queen's music video for It's a Hard Life, you can find that unicorn costume. For all the Queen fans out there.
What are you guys dressing up as for Halloween, you know? Maybe it's the metallic unicorn.
That would be great. Yeah, no, this is, we're timing this episode very well with Halloween. I mean, my favorite holiday, my religion. And so, I'm getting all kinds of deep cut ideas for what's a pretty costume that I can wear or iconic that no one will know. So you can get lots of ideas from this episode.
You could also be one of the nuns from The Devils. So
I mean, no one's stopping you.
It's iconic. One of the things that I should mention about The Devils in that it is so controversial is that it was released by Warner Brothers, but they are just like not doing a physical home media release. They are not about that life in terms of the full film. So there is a censored version which was released. It is X-rated. And that's primarily due to, I think, like the nudity and sexual content. But there are like bootleg versions floating around. And they're actually pretty easy to find if you're looking online. But there are a couple key scenes that were cut out. But yeah, like this was made in 1971. They did not do a theatrical release of the director's cut, like with those scenes intact, in London until I think 2001.
That's insane.
So they just sat on it for like 30 years.
Wow.
And it was banned in Finland until 2001. Like there were just so many people were upset about this movie.
When I think of Finland, I'm not really thinking like Catholic community. So,
right?
Maybe I just don't know anything about Finland.
But like, I was also, when I was looking up stuff about The Devils, I found out that there is apparently a cameo in Space Jam 2 where they make a reference to the Devils in some kind of weird Warner Brothers universe that they're talking about. And I'm like, why are you putting this in Space Jam 2 if you're so ashamed of it, Warner Brothers? And also, that's not the best place
like children.
Don't. Yeah. Yeah, this is not a film for children.
It's not. Don't show your children this film, guys.
No.
As someone who watched Gangs of New York at a young age, don't show this to your children.
There you have it.
You can watch it. You should watch it, but your children should not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So there's like a few key moments in which a lot of the people are wearing masks. So there's the band at the beginning of the film at the funeral, and it feels like that's my interpretation of it is that's a moment where like the band is trying to like subdue their vanity.
Mm.
Like the focus is not on them, it's on the funeral.
Yeah.
And then there's also the moment in the den, the debauchery in the den, where there's all of the oh, how do I gently say this?
Is it at the public exorcism?
Sure, yeah, the public exorcism. There you go. Where the public are wearing masks as well, and the masks seem like it's a need for anonymity.
Mm.
And it's kind of astounding how hypocritical these people are.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're engaging in all of this mad behavior, and without them there, this would not be going on.
Yeah.
Without their like encouragement of it, but yet they're not willing to like show that they are participating in it and like be held accountable.
Right.
And that message would not be portrayed to the audience without the masks. So costumes are kind of important to telling the story.
Yes.
That's what I'm getting at.
Oh,
So
I love that. I actually like I didn't even clock that. I when you said masks, I was like, "Oh my god, there was such a like deliberate showcasing of these people wearing masks, and it just went right over my head." So that is fascinating. I love that.
There was also kind of a mirroring of in the after the trial, after Grandier, for anyone who is our audience, if you haven't seen the movie, things don't go well for the guy who gets accused of like basically inspiring demonic activity in all these nuns. But Father Grandier gets tried in this sham trial and gets convicted, and they shear him of like all his hair, which makes him look real weird, by the way. Sorry, Oliver Reed.
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, did they switch
Right?
actors?
I turned to Jess when we were watching this and I was like, hair really does a lot for people.
It really does.
Because, he was like, not maybe my cup of tea, but like he was a cutie pie, with his little hair and mustache. And then, he comes out and you're like, he looks like a big thumb. But anyway, sorry, that's not my point. But he comes out, he's been sheared of all of his hair, and he's wearing this sheath that is emblazoned with this like large red cross. But it kind of evokes the imagery of earlier on in the film when Sister Jeanne, the Mother Superior of the convent, who really kicks off all the hysteria, she's having this vision of Father Grandier as Jesus Christ walking across the water. And it's these very similar sheaths that he's wearing. So it's almost giving this subliminal message, I felt like, that we have Father Grandier is being crucified or put up, for death, like Jesus Christ was, that he was absolving the sins of this convent of nuns because he didn't actually do any of this stuff.
Right.
He was just like a martyr to this political scheme. Maybe that was me reading too much into it.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's really interesting. I did not think of that. And I think one of like the horror twisted elements of that is considering that in a way this is like Sister Jean's fantasy,
Yeah.
which just adds a whole other layer of like repulsion, I guess, to it. It's so twisted.
It is. And like it's I mean, there's so much to talk about with like in terms of I'm trying to just focus on like costumes because there is so much here for costumes. There's like so much wonderful work that Shirley Ann Russell did in this film, but it's also there's just like so much like story and
Yeah.
there's just so much to talk about. But I will say that one of the things I found really interesting when I was researching in prep for this episode was that apparently one of Ken Russell's favorite movies was Metropolis. And so he told his production designer that he wanted to kind of evoke that imagery of kind of German expressionism. And so it's really interesting, like when you watch and you look at the town of Loudun and you look at the convent and these just kind of like white spaces, how you have it made this really cool backdrop for Shirley Russell to play with these costumes, in that sometimes like it's making the characters fall into the background or pulling them forward. Like you have some characters like Philippe who has like crazy makeup and crazy hair and crazy dresses, and she's always kind of like she's a member of the aristocracy, she's popping off and like looking, like she wants eyes on her. And then you have the nuns who literally blend in with their surroundings. They're like the same exact colors, they're the same, it's like them being absorbed into their environment.
Yes.
I wanted to give a shout out to Shirley Russell as well in the way that most of those costumes, besides like King Louis's whole situation, most of the costumes in Loudun are black and white. And the way that she was able to create those stark differences in silhouettes and textures to help, showcase the different characters is fantastic. Like, really difficult job, and she knocked it out of the park.
It's like the complete opposite end of the spectrum of The Fall.
Yeah, like to only be working with black and white, and then how do you make those different from each other?
But that's where the random rainbow coming in. I mean, a lot of it is in like the lighting, which I actually had never. It did make me think about like how interesting it is that stained glass in churches reflect rainbow lighting, probably inside. So I was like, oh, that must be where it's coming from. But it does kind of have like a disco effect in a way. Like it looks. I was like, oh, this is kind of bizarre, but I think it fits really well with the mood and tone of this film. But I just remember like specifically there's a great scene where the nuns have all completely lost it. They've shed all their robes, they're running around naked in the convent or in the church, and they've brought in a witch hunter to try to tame them, and he's just like getting all caught up in the chaos of it. And then King Louis comes to visit to see what all the jazz is about. And he's just like completely amused by all of it. He's like, oh, this is great. This is so entertaining. And he comes into the church like carried on
like a divan.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And I honestly don't even remember what else he's wearing, but he had these rainbow sparkling tights.
Yes.
I loved his tights.
Just like bam.
He was also wearing like a gold metal hammered mask as well. So it's tying back into that mask imagery that Ashley was talking about.
Oh, and I love how like he completely knows that they're faking it, but like, and I think everyone else does, but they're like, I want to see a show. This is amusing. I don't care if that means you take my city along with this trial. I want to be entertained.
Yeah.
They didn't have TV, you know? It was like, what are we going to do? Let's go to the church today for this public exorcism. I would be remiss if I didn't highlight one of Ashley's favorite characters, and I'm saying this tongue in cheek, who is Father Barre, the witch hunter.
Oh. Oh my God. I've never hated a character more.
He's just also like, I don't understand the costume, and maybe I need to sit with it more, or just like, okay, I didn't understand the hair and makeup for Father Barr or for Madeline.
Yeah. I mean, they just looked like kind of plucked out of the 70s.
Yes, and I'm just like, why? What is our... And I'm sure there's something there. There's got to be a reason. But I just am not... I'm not jiving with it.
I agree with that sentiment very much so. I mean, granted, this character is so evil that I just was like, get him out of here. Get him out of here now. But I think his look on top of it adds to my hatred, because I'm just like,
maybe that's a good
I don't
thing,
know.
then.
It's almost like a poser kind of thing where I'm like, what is he doing here? And I think you guys said the 70s rock star.
Yeah.
And it just really doesn't fit in with the rest of the costuming, I think, which a lot of it is also like more, I think fits in more with like the era that they're depicting. But his is strange, and the hair is like it's the hair and then like the John Lennon glasses that I'm just like, what are we doing?
He's just kind of like maybe it was an intentional thing. Like he's like, oh, he's the traveling rock star witch finder who's going from town to town and trying to, I don't know, be relevant.
He's a clout chaser.
He is. I mean, like, he keeps just making up stuff.
Time traveling clout chaser.
Exactly. He's just like, I'm gonna go back in time. I will say that, like, this film, in terms of relevance, if people haven't seen it, I know it's pretty spicy in terms of some of the content. Like, I always hold this film in very high esteem in my head, and like, I mean, because I do really love this film, and then when it's time to rewatch it, I sit with it, and I'm like, man, this is a tough movie. Like, I forget how tough it is, but it is like eerily always relevant, and there's like, we wish it wasn't in a lot of ways. But there was one quote from Father Grandier that I wrote down as feeling especially like prescient in terms of like what's going on in the world right now. But he said this line of, anytime there is a nationalist revival, it is for one thing: to seize control of the entire country. And I was just like, ah! And then, you know, he gets railroaded and you know, taken to trial and has all this stuff like laid against him. And Father Barre is right in the middle of it all. Our time traveling DJ. But yeah, I really wanted to make sure that I highlighted that like this film will continue to be relevant, unfortunately. And you know, the vibes are imagery beautiful, vibes a lot of gross, but important.
Yeah, you feel icky about human nature.
Yes.
But the visuals, just astounding.
And apparently Ken Russell, in a lot of interviews, he was a very kind of pious Catholic, And when people would say that it was an anti-Catholic film or an anti-religious film, he would disagree with them. And he would say that it's about the degradation of religious principles, about a sinner who becomes a saint. So, you know, he was more shocked by the malfeasances and you know, the bad things that his own church had done, and he wanted to depict that. So it was really interesting. Like, I don't know, a lot of people go like, oh, this film really hates religion. And it's like, no, he's being incisive because he felt himself, you know, betrayed in a way.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely does not feel like the person making this hates religion. It feels like they hate when religion is bent to the will of man. To take from its participants.
I totally agree with that.
I wanted to mention one more thing about the costumes.
Yes.
No, that's why we're here, Ashley.
I clearly have not done the research that that Shirley has done or had done as far as like what nuns in this region would have worn historically, because like what does a nun wear really? It's like there's so many variations. But I really appreciate whether this was done for the reason I'm about to say or not, but the nuns are in these white garments with a black veil, and I thought it was really interesting because it reminded me of like having a clear, pure body with like dark thoughts clouding their minds and their judgment.
Ooh.
And I thought that was really interesting. Instead of just going for black and then the black would stand out against all of the white, that it was white, and that it reminded me of those things. And whether or not that was the reason or if it was just because that's what they wore, who knows? But I thought it was a good little parallel.
Oh, I love that.
I do too.
Thank you.
Good job, Ashley. You got good thoughts.
So do you. You got good words.
Oh.
I love it. Well, any final thoughts on The Devils?
Oh, yes. Holy shit. The fabrics.
Yes.
Oh, the sheer fabrics, the lace, the velvet.
Yes.
And then like all of those Byzantine robes that
yes.
Oh God, his name escaped.
Garnier.
Thank you, Grandier. Were so beautiful. I just wanted to touch them and put them on my body.
Yeah.
Just wear them casually to the grocery store. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Just my big collar. That's it. That's just what I wanted. I just want a little shout out there.
No, and rightfully so, because I had totally forgotten about. I did write down in my notes also like Grandier's the jewels and like detailing on his robes was so spectacular. So it is worth the shout out 100%.
And like the cardinal's robe with like that like rich red, and then he's got those like layers of like lace over it.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh.
Ugh, that character also. What a dingbat.
I know. And then also like, didn't you love the Baron's collar, Ashley? I feel like you were agog about
Who's
that.
the Baron?
The Baron is like the guy with the curly blonde hair, and he wears that like metal breastplate in like the black. And he's like trying to steal people's businesses and stuff, but he has that like big floppy sheer white collar.
Yes. Yeah. It's good. It's good. That was the exact collar I was thinking about wearing to the grocery store. So.
Oh, got it. I'm glad that we clarified that.
I love it. Well, you guys should definitely check it out. As you can see, there's so much to talk about, so much to dive into. We've only scratched the surface. of this film. Jess very generously lended me DVD version for the uncut version, I should say, which if you guys can source is very worth the watch, especially if, horror, exploitation films are your thing. Check it out. It's unforgettable. In the meantime, you can find it on demand, but definitely let us know what you guys think. Alrighty, we're going to take a quick break. And during that break, you're going to hear from our producer, Sonia Maru, for an edition that we call Sonia's Movie Minute. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Sonia, and this is my Movie Minute. What do Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Tank Girl, Hedwig and the Angry Inch, Walk the Line, and every Madonna music video and tour of the 21st century have in common? Two things. I love them all so much, and they were costume designed by Ariane Phillips. I don't like to throw this word around willy-nilly, but Ariane is an icon. What's so remarkable about her work is that the clothing she chooses is so present and memorable, but also motivated by time, place, and character in a way that doesn't demand your attention. Over the years, I've seen countless of her designs turned into Halloween costumes. Cliff Booth's Hawaiian shirt and perfectly fit jeans, Madonna's hung-up dancer getup, Brandon Lee's Crow, and of course, Tank Girl and Hedwig. But when you watch those movies, you don't think, look at those people wearing costumes. You just fall in love with those characters while acknowledging that they look really fucking cool. One of the great things about film is how people can become lifelong collaborators. And it's a testament to Ariane's skill, talent, work ethic, and personality that visionaries like Madonna, James Mangold, and Tom Ford go to her for every project. I just saw that her next film is with Greg Araki. Can't wait to see that one.
Welcome back to the Gimme 3 podcast. Today we're talking about the art of costume design. So far we've talked about The Fall, brought to you by Eiko Ishioka, and Shirley Ann Russell gave us The Devils. All right, now we're going to close it out with my final pick of the day, my first and final pick, I should say. So I chose the very first film that came to mind when I thought of costume design, because there are far too many incredible options out there. And I knew that if I started really looking, I would just get in way too deep. So literally the first thing that popped into my head, it was Tim Burton's 2010 live action adaptation of Alice in Wonderland. Very random, but I have to admit this was a childhood favorite of mine. And honestly, I've always loved the Alice in Wonderland stories in all their forms as well. Holds a special place in my heart. But anyways, Burton's version reimagines Alice as a young woman who tumbles back into Wonderland and finds herself caught between childhood fantasy and the pressing responsibilities and pressure of adulthood. We've got a wonderful cast in this film, with Mia Wasikowska starring as Alice, Johnny Depp as the Mad Hatter, my queen, Helena Bonham Carter, as the Red Queen, Anne Hathaway as the White Queen, and my all-time favorite, the late, great Alan Rickman's unforgettable voice as Absalom, the Blue Caterpillar. And this is just to name a few, honestly. Aside from the fantastic feminist reimagining of Alice's adventures in Wonderland, the brilliant visuals and set pieces, Colleen Atwood's costume design is undeniably memorable. As a matter of fact, she actually took home the Oscar in 2011 for her work in this film, which I had no idea. So that was pretty cool. As a longtime collaborator with Tim Burton, Atwood stays true to the Tim Burton dark whimsy, but also pulls in some Victorian England and even was inspired by John Tenniel's classic Alice illustrations from the original novel and centuries of royal fashion to create this world that, you know, feels both familiar but also completely and utterly bizarre. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go into this a little bit first before I pass it along. But as I said, this was a favorite of mine as a kid. I literally remember seeing this movie in theaters, and the visuals blew my mind. And I was actually totally caught by surprise with how dated the CGI looked when I watched it back today. I was like, "What? No!" At the time, like I thought everything looked so real. I was like, "That is the realest talking white rabbit I've ever seen." So that was a funny surprise when I came back to revisit this. But that being said, I gotta say the costumes were even better than I remembered, and I especially loved just how many costume changes they give our girl Alice. I mean, this woman has at least 7 costume changes, and personally, I love almost every single one of them, but I'm curious to hear, Ashley and Jess, what did you guys think of Colleen Atwood's costume design for Alice in Wonderland? And did you have a favorite Alice look?
Ooh, I love the favorite Alice look question. I know Jess's. Jess, please talk about yours because I love the passion you have for it.
I'm torn between 2, you know that.
Yeah, but okay, which one would you wear?
Well, I would wear the look. When she's posing as in the Red Queen's court, and she's got on that like Vivienne Westwood punk rock couture dress. That's like my favorite one. I mean, I know it's a shocker that since I love horror films, I'm also a huge punk rock alternative fashion fan.
Shocker.
It's so shocking. But I am a big punk rock person. I absolutely love all things punk rock. And so as soon as I saw that, I was like, yes, with the punk rock. Like I was all for it. My second one that is I hold it in high esteem for multiple reasons. Is her underclothes dress when she shrinks.
Yes.
Because I just thought it was so smart. Like as I was watching it and as I was watching the film and she transitions into that dress, I thought like her clothes not shrinking with her and then her underclothes becoming her new dress was so smart. And it was like drapey and satiny and textured, and it allowed Colleen to play with a different silhouette outside of the time period strictures in a really interesting way. So that was a close second.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I mean, sorry, just to jump in because that was also my favorite. So while we're talking about it, I love, as you kind of touched on this actually, Jess, of like how it's kind of a transformative moment. Like it's almost like a butterfly moment. You know, she's like shed this like crisp pastel storybook Alice blue dress from the beginning and emerges in this like loose draped off the shoulder. And I love the color of this dress so much because it's almost like it's almost like a muted turquoise kind of, but then it has like dark blue vertical striping and a lace trim at the bottom. And it's very like weathered or like dusty even. And like it's more like earthy and subdued than like a bright jewel tone in my opinion. And I loved that because I think it really beautifully blends into like the flowers and the rich nature, like vibrant nature around her, because she's like stepped into Wonderland at this point. And it's dark, but then like there's pops of colors from the talking flowers, and then she's kind of like blending into all of this. And then I absolutely love just the way, like you said, how it kind of just drapes on her and is like haphazardly bundled and tied around the waist. Like it's very makeshift.
Yeah.
But also I want to say, like, I feel like it's kind of it's makeshift, but it's also kind of like sexy or like sensual at the same time, which I love because I feel like it ties into this idea that she's like returning to Wonderland as this bold, beautiful grown woman.
Mhm.
She's no longer a child, but it's also like slightly disheveled, like, which kind of mirrors, you know, her own personal journey of not knowing who the hell she is or what she wants. And then also she's like very out of place
Yeah.
here. So it's like she doesn't fit in Wonderland. She doesn't fit in her real
She
life
doesn't fit in her
a way. Like
dress.
and then she doesn't fit in her dress. Her clothes don't fit. So I love it. I think this one is like so subtly brilliant. So sorry, I went on a long tangent there, but yes, as you can see, this is also my favorite.
No, I think it's also great, like a great contrast from the first dress we see her in that's very structured in the bodice.
Yes.
And then to go from this structured little girl's dress to this
Mhm.
draped feminine, but also kind of like haphazard while remaining like very practical. Like she's able to bunch it up wherever she needs to run
Yeah.
wherever she's going.
Right,
It's doing everything.
Yeah, it really is. It's so great.
Ashley, what's your favorite look?
My favorite
Yeah.
look, well, my favorite look that like I would wear is probably when she's on the ship at the end.
Oh,
Yeah.
I actually love that look as well.
I love suiting on women. And it shows her journey in like she's denied this marriage. She has decided that she wants to be the person who's, you know, setting sail to this new life as a woman in a man's world and darning men's suiting. And I love it. So it feels very much like something I would be interested in wearing. But also, like, I love her armor look. Her armor look is fantastic.
Oh. Yeah, that's my second favorite.
I love the armor look as well. I do have, and I told this to Ashley when we were watching it. I was like, I have a love-hate relationship with the skirt.
Oh, interesting.
Because I'm like, yes, chainmail skirt. And then I was like, but also, why is there gonna be a skirt?
Why gotta be a skirt?
Like, I was just like, yes,
I get that.
I love a chainmail skirt. Yes, she's like, and then I was just like, but also, is it just a skirt because she's a woman? Like, but
right.
So I still feel conflicted about it because I love it, but then also I'm like, yeah, I have no clear feelings.
Yeah.
Maybe a way to accept it is like she hasn't come into herself until the end of that battle. So, you know, like it's this in-between garment of like it's what men wear in battle, feminized. It's these two things. And she's kind of these two things.
I love that.
Okay, I accept it.
I love the armor look. The armor look. After watching this movie, I literally couldn't sleep because I was up all night on Etsy looking to see if I could find it anywhere for Halloween.
Oh, that'd be so good!
Right? I thought it'd be so fun, but no one's made it, which is insane to me because I feel like this has been around since like 2010.
Yeah,
and it's so iconic. I mean, it's a little bit of a deep cut, but I think it's so iconic.
No one's made it yet, Bella, because you're gonna make it.
I'm gonna have to do it.
You're gonna have to do it.
I'm gonna be like a blacksmith.
Yes!
Ding, ding. From now until October 31st.
I'm excited.
What are those noises coming out of Bella's apartment?
Oh, it's just some metal smithing.
Sparks flying out the door, like cracks.
It's like, is it a meth lab
geez.
or?
Yeah. No, I'm just making armor. I'm making Alice in Wonderland armor.
In LA, it's regular. It's fine.
Yeah, people would not be like, if that was the explanation, they were probably like, yeah, okay.
They're like, is it on TikTok? Oh man, yeah, it's a I feel like this movie is a great one for Halloween inspo, and also just, you know, this is super random, but For anyone who loves to just look at really fun costumes on Etsy, people have made some like really incredible pieces inspired from this movie. So
interesting. Okay.
just gonna shout that out because I spent too many hours doing that instead of preparing for this podcast.
So listeners, go support your costume makers.
Yes, exactly.
Ashley, weren't you saying something about emo influence in this movie?
Yes, I was.
Oh.
Yeah, like so her Alice's first look, she's wearing these fingerless gloves. And I was just like,
yes.
This is the perfect opportunity because a lot of it's that nod to, I don't know if I'm just making these connections because I am part of the connection. But like the association with Alice in Wonderland people also being like scene emo kids. And then like the fashion then integrating into Alice and like with her fingerless gloves and that little nod of like emo, and also it being a Tim Burton film like feels very fitting.
Right.
Yeah. And then her dress that she's wearing with the Red Queen is very, very like punk emo.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love I actually do really like the original, like her first dress, the kind of like storybook blueprint Alice, the dress we all like recognize as like, oh, this is Alice, but it's reimagined as like, you know, she's much older, but I love the silhouette. I love how you know, it's recognizably Alice, but she still has all her quirks like hiding beneath the crisp, like put together facade. Like you mentioned, she's got those fingerless gloves, or like early in the film, I think her mom or someone is like, "You're not wearing stockings," and she's got these like black and white striped socks and boots. It's just, I just love that. I mean, as a kid, I was like, she's so cool.
No corset,
so
no stockings.
Yeah, I loved it. I think it's just a great way to like kick off this character and the journey that she goes on, which we see so much through the costumes, which I think is such a big part of this. But
well, and like her first look is I think it's so terrific, the differences between her and everyone else at that garden party.
Yes.
Oh,
like
yes.
Everyone there is wearing like a very pale pastel or creams, like pastel, and she and they all have long sleeves and floor length dresses, and she comes in with no corset, a short sleeve dress, and it's short, it's like a tea-length dress, and it's just like she just looks so different from everyone.
Yeah.
And her hair is down. No, it's not, it's up, I lied.
Oh yeah, it starts up, but oh god, that hair is so beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
When it comes down, I'm just like, stop it right now.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I do know that I would have loved more looks from the Red Queen.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, we've only talked about Alice, but there's actually so many characters.
Yeah,
in this
there's
film.
so many characters, and I hate to skip away from Alice, but I was looking at my notes and I kept seeing how I like underlined, why does the Red Queen only get one dress?
Great question. $1 million question.
The Red and the White Queen. I mean, but we see the Red Queen way more times.
Right.
What a shame. I also am like disappointed in the disconnect between the CGI characters' costumes and the live action characters' costumes. They just felt so, there's just this dissonance between the two. And I don't know if it was like Colleen didn't design those and if it was the animators who did, or if there's just something, they feel like an afterthought.
Or maybe something got lost in translation or something.
I get that. Yeah, I honestly, and I say that because I honestly didn't even pay attention to them. Which, I feel like isn't how it should be, you know? Like I as I was saying, there's so many characters. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even pay attention to the white rabbit wearing a fucking suit. Because and like Malyumkin or whatever her name is, the little mouse, and I mean Tweedledee and Tweedledum are as basic as it
They're
gets.
like
It's
wearing
like overalls and
they're like
stripes.
wearing brown though. It's
Yeah.
like a brown stripe, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, no, it felt. I think you're spot on. They felt more like an afterthought, which I think it also explains why it's like I didn't even like they just went right over my head. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
on to the real stuff.
The real stuff was like beautiful textures and materials.
Oh, yeah.
There were some moments where I was just like, I've got my critiquing hat on. It's a certain hour of the night, and I've got my critique hat on.
Ooh, please. Yes. I mean, we've been raving about all of these. Let's get into the critiques.
Yeah, no. So no shame in this, but it felt like there was a high regard for current fashion of the time.
Yeah.
When designing Alice's costumes. A lot of her dresses felt like, oh, this is what like young girls are gonna love and they're gonna want to see in 2010.
Yeah.
And they look great, but they definitely feel like they are fashion at some moments and not costumes.
Yeah. Yep.
Like how Alice's Mad Hatter created dress was like giving 2010's junior prom realness.
Yes, exactly.
It looked like, I was like, I saw girls at my junior prom like wearing this dress.
Yeah. No, I skipped over that one because I was like, oh my God, he just butchered my dream dress.
I know, right?
I couldn't even process it. I was like, no, I'm ignoring this one.
I understand why. Yeah, it's
it doesn't hold up.
I just can't get over the CGI ones. I just need to move on. Just like, put it to rest.
They didn't work.
Yeah, I think like as separate characters, there's a lot of really memorable costumes here, but I do feel like overall there's a lot of dissonance between the whole world building aspect of this.
But you did love the Mad Hatter's costumes.
Yes.
Except for
why is he wearing the same bow tie the whole time?
Yes.
He's got like 5 other costumes, but yet he's wearing the same bow tie.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
Ashley kept talking about it. She was just like, the same bow tie again?
He's got all these different shirts and waistcoats, and I'm just like, why is he still wearing the same bow tie? And I don't even love the bow tie.
Yeah, that's the big problem.
Yeah. I just feel so conflicted about them. Like, I love and it's also hard because I'm such a big Alice in Wonderland fan, or just like,
oh yeah,
and I'm also such a big Tim Burton fan. Like, he was one of my favorites as a child. And to me, this just, out of all of his films, this to me seemed like a turning point for him.
I feel that. Of
like, oh, it's like he's too worried about getting butts in the seats or something. Or like it's become too big.
Yeah.
And then it leaves out the issue of the push for your art, and like, oh, well, we don't have this big budget, so how are we going to make it work practically?
Right.
It's just, I just feel so conflicted with with this film.
I think that's so fair. It is by no means. I was honestly like so shocked when I found out this won the Oscar. I mean, I can't remember.
That's wild.
I looked it up today. Yeah, I can't remember what it was up against, but I didn't choose this being like, oh, these costumes are well regarded. I was just like, oh, I remember these being really fun.
No, and I feel like I have the same memory of like, oh yeah, I remember the costumes feeling really whimsical, and like they do feel whimsical. But if I'm like, if I've got my critique hat on, I'm like, there's some moments where it just feels disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
The other, from a cursory Google search, this was by no means in depth, but the nominees in 2010, alongside of Alice in Wonderland for the Academy Award for Best Costume Design, were Coco Before Chanel, which had wonderful costumes. There was True Grit, some movie called Bright Star. I never heard of Bright Star, but that might be like a foreign film. Colleen Atwood, again for 9. So she was double nominated?
She was double nominated?
There was The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. I Am Love. The Young Victoria, Sandy Powell.
Oh, wow.
The Tempest, Sandy Powell, also double nominated.
Damn, Sandy.
And The King's Speech.
You know what? I haven't seen any of those films. I've only seen Alice in Wonderland. So, you know, good job. So yeah, it won for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. Yeah, those were this is the ones we remembered.
I would like to say, what's wrong with Anne Hathaway's arms? That's my biggest critique. Was every time
with them? When they're like up in the
never puts them down.
It's a character choice.
I didn't like it.
I kind of love it because she's so committed.
I love it because it's so uncomfortable.
Yes.
Like I think about like how if I had to talk to this person the whole time, I would not even hear a word that she's saying. So I'd be like, are your arms hurting? Like, please.
Oh my word.
But I actually love her character. I love that she has kind of this like performative purity thing going on. I think it's really interesting. But so I and a criticism I have is like going deeper into her character, and I don't know, because like her costume design really fits the facade. It doesn't like show any deeper side, except maybe I guess it's not really costumes. I guess it's more like hair and makeup. But I love the choice of dark lips, dark eyes, dark brows, because otherwise she would look so messed up. Like the washed out look would not work for me. We've seen it works in other ways. Like I feel like another film that I thought about choosing, but I realized it's only because there's that one costume. I was thinking of Tilda Swinton and like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Oh God,
as like the White Queen or whatever she is so good as well. But she's like completely washed out, and it works because she's like scary. But they want, I think, darkening her Anne Hathaway's makeup as the White Queen in this was so brilliant, and it's like it's also kind of like a very dark red. Like it's even her eyebrows are kind of like reddish, which I love. I think it makes sense, you know. She's like the twin sister, or I don't know, sister to the Red Queen. So it's I feel like it's kind of a nod to them being connected in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
I do love her dress. I can't lie. I love that it's very like fairy princess. It's very over the top.
Going off of the White Queen, Red Queen juxtaposition, I really loved the costumes for the members of the court for both of them.
Oh, yes.
Where the Red Queen's is kind of like really gaudy, with the metallics and the red and the black and just like the really big shapes. And then with the White Queen's court members wearing these kind of like, I would call it a collage of fairy tale eras, where it's like from the 1400s to the 1700s, probably, as far as the different garments that they're wearing, but all in this pale color palette, and just the difference between the two was really great.
Oh, yeah. And I love how, like, everyone has kind of their own unique costume as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not just like a uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's a lot of fun. Any final thoughts on Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland?
I do. I have in looking at my notes, I just put together some things and I'm like, oh, this is very interesting. This connects to our next episode.
Ooh.
So I had in my notes that I think that there's definitely some drag queen inspiration for the Red Queen.
Oh, yes.
I see it. I see it in the makeup. And also her ostrich hat in that one scene where the Mad Hatter is like doing all these different types of hats.
Yes.
For her, there's this like amazing ostrich hat that she hates and like throws away. Or I guess she doesn't hate it. She just is like next. So I want to leave everyone with that in their minds about drag queens and ostrich hats. And that's all. It'll come up in the next episode.
A perfect final thought. Well, everyone, that is a wrap for our first episode spotlighting the art of costume design. We started with Eiko Ishioka's dreamlike costumes in The Fall, went on to Shirley Ann Russell's shocking and theatrical designs in The Devils, and of course ended with Colleen Atwood's whimsical, unforgettable work in Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland. As we've been saying throughout the episode, it's clear that costume design is an integral part of cinematic storytelling, and it's just pretty damn beautiful as well. Huge thanks to Ashley and Jessica for joining me and picking these incredible films. Thank you so much for being here. It was so much fun to have you guys here.
It was so much fun being here.
It was such a pleasure, and I can't wait to dive into the next 3 films.
Yes, everyone, be sure to tune in for part 2 next week, where we'll continue this celebration of extraordinary costume design with 2 more stunning films picked by Ashley herself and a film picked by all of you from our Instagram poll. You guys can stay tuned for more polls on our Instagram at Gimme 3 Podcast. That's GIMME, spell out 3 podcast. And really quickly before you go, if you love the podcast and you want to support the show even more, here are 2 quick things that go a long way. First, you can set our episodes to auto-download on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Just go to our podcast, tap the settings gear, set it to auto-download, and you're good to go. You can listen to us anytime, anywhere, no matter where you are in the world. 2, you can also subscribe to our Patreon for just $5 a month. Get access to bonus episodes, exclusive content, and, support the show. It helps us keep the mics on. Ashley and Jess, do you guys want to tell the lovely listeners where to find you on the socials?
Ashley, you want to go first?
Yeah, so my Instagram account is at Ashley Kae Costumes.
And for me, my Instagram and various other social medias all have the same handle of at the OrigMC.
Amazing. You guys can find me on Instagram at Portrait of a Cinephile or on Letterboxd at BFstratus. Thanks again for joining us on the Gimme 3 podcast, and we will see you at the movies.